I would go to Old Trafford. I'd say, come and have a cup of tea. I went, yeah. 10 minutes, the players go out for warm-up, 2:10. I'm in Fergie's office. Me and Fergie are having a bet on we got the racing on, right? I swear. Suddenly I can hear the players coming in, I had their studs. I went, Alex, I better go. They're coming in. No, he said, they've only got 2 offences. Now, if I'd have had his team, I'd have probably sat in there and watched the 3:30. I mean, you know, it's all right for him, isn't it?
Harry, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, Dodger, all good.
Good. Who we got on the show today?
Today we got, one of the funniest men I think I've ever... I love listening to him. I watched League of Their Own, never miss it, and he's just fantastic. He's joined the show a few years ago and he's just become a massive star of the show, really, to be honest with you. He's brilliant. Romesh, how you doing, mate? Welcome to the show.
I'm very good. Hello, guys. Thanks very much for having me on. It's I really enjoyed watching Harry talk about me there like I couldn't hear. It's great. It's a really nice thing to be able to do. It's I guess it's what it's like to be sort of listening on your own eulogy, really. So thank you. Lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
When you was a kid, Romesh, did you see this being your life going forward, being what you're doing now, or did you have other? Was you a sporting man? I know your mum said you was in the tug of war team. She said they used to I remember that day she said they used to put the rope round him because he was quite fat. She said they couldn't pull him.
Quality. Do you know what's so embarrassing? Is your mum saying to one of football managing's greats, "Oh yeah, no, he's really good at sport. He can do the tug of war." It's so humiliating. But no, the truth is, Harry, the truth is, I grew up like my family. All of my family are into comedy, and like when we were kids, we used to like go and in the days when we used to rent videos out, we'd go and like rent loads of comedy out, and we'd watch like in our house. We always had comedy on, and we all had different tastes. Like I was into sort of Eddie Murphy films and stuff, and Richard Pryor and people like that. And my mum was into, the old Peter Sellers, Inspector Clouseau films and all that. But we'd always have comedy on. But no way in a million years would I have thought I'd be doing it for a job. No way.
What age did you get your first breakthrough?
Yeah, well, I started quite late, to be honest with you, because I mean, my first ever gig was when I was 9 at Pontin's holiday camp. I won the talent competition. I don't want to go on about it, but the truth of it is that much later I'd been watching loads of stand up, and then I just said to my wife, I think I must have been maybe I was like 29, 30 years old, something like that. And I said, I want to try and do stand up. And I wasn't even then, to be honest with you, Dodge, that wasn't, I'm going to do it as a career. That was, I'm going to do it just to have a go at it. How so many teachers have got it feels like almost every teacher's a member of a failed band, or they've got some other thing going on in the evening. So I just thought this is going to be one of those things where in the evenings it's going to be like a little hobby, but then it just gradually started to take off,
And do you remember your first gig when you were actually earning money?
I was doing a gig in Brighton, and the gig had gone well, and there was a guy just in the audience, and he said, "Oh, I run a gig in Southampton," and he said, "I'd love you to come and do my gig. Like that was really good." And to me, I'd only be gigging in Brighton. He said, "I'll pay you a tenner to come and do this set," and I was like, this felt like. Honestly, man, it felt like I'd made it. Like it was incredible. I said to my wife, this guy's going to pay me money to go to Southampton and gig. Anyway, I turned up in Southampton. It's like 2.5 hour drive from me, and I went to the gig, and the girl on the door said to me, "Oh, you're Romesh, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I've heard all about you," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible! I people have heard about me before I've got to the venue." And I went to the room, and there must have been about 11, 12 people in the audience. But for then, that's a good crowd, right?
Yeah.
At that level. Anyway, I went up, and I died so hard. I mean, it was breathtaking. Like it was so bad. I thought that they weren't going to applaud me when I said thank you very much. I've been Romesh Ranganathan. It was really it was horrendous. It was so awful. that when I walked off, that girl that had spoken to me at the door on the way in couldn't even make eye contact with me. It was such a horrible drive back, man. Like it was so funny because I'd gone from like being absolutely buzzing and like thinking, oh, this is it, man, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I know that sounds mad for like a £10 gig, but it was like out of town, you know, like it felt like a big deal. My buzz on arriving compared to my absolute despair on the drive back was so hard, man. It was hard.
And you were a school teacher before becoming a comedian, is that right?
Yeah, I was a maths teacher and head of sixth form. I worked at a couple of schools, but I was working at a school just down the road from where I live, and I became head of sixth form there. And then I got. It was a really good school. It was a comprehensive school, but it was a really good comprehensive school. And so I got this kind of Michelle Pfeiffer type Dangerous Minds desire to go and work at a rougher school or a more challenging school. And so I applied to go and work at this other school. Actually, weirdly, the school I ended up moving to is a school that Tom Davis went to when he was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, this school in Banstead, the Beacon. And it just come out of special measures, and their sixth formers in loads of trouble. And so I went to work there. Like, you know, I was really like excited about trying to turn it around there. Yeah. But then what happened was, is that at the same time as doing that, my comedy really started to take off. And so it got to a point where I had to start thinking about which one I was going to sort of commit myself to, you know, because I was doing both of them a little bit poorly.
Yeah. Any comedians really stand out for you, Harry, over the years?
Well, I mean, I love all the arc and still, you know, look at the Frankie Howard and Tommy Cooper and all them people. I mean, quality. Tommy Cooper would just walk on the stage and you start laughing, wouldn't you? You know, he just like that or something. You know, he was amazing, Tommy Cooper. He just looked funny, didn't he? Yeah. But no, I love it.
There's that amazing thing with Tommy Cooper where I think it was in his the documentary about him where he had some friends turn up just before the gig and he wanted to have a drink with them, but it was it was like his stage time was due, so he basically got the mic and he was like sort of doing a bit from backstage, like he just sat in the dressing room with the microphone, just going, "Oh, can't find my way out. Oh, what's going on?" Like, just absolutely ripping the gig without just having a drink, ripping the gig without even being on stage. I mean, it was incredible, man.
But you're a massive Arsenal fan. You were growing up in pubs as a kid.
Well, my dad, basically what happened was my dad, so the reason I'm an Arsenal fan is my dad, when he first moved to England from Sri Lanka, he lived in North London and ended up falling in love with Arsenal. And then he ended up moving to Crawley. And basically the story with the pub is he got the pub when probably like I was maybe a teenager, it was pretty late on, like, you know, it wasn't when I was a kid. But what happened is he was working for this book export company, right? As a finance guy for this book export company, and he didn't like the commute, right? So he ended up buying out the company and moved it nearer where we live, right? Because he's just like, I can't be bothered to get the train every day, so he just wanted to like have a short commute, and then step on from that. He would go to work and then he would go to the pub for lunch, right? Just every day. Like, my dad was a proper like he loved going to the pub. And then one day he realised, it occurred to him that he was having more fun at the pub than he was at work, right? So he sold the company and bought the pub. I mean, it's incredible. So he ended up just taking over that pub, and then he spent the rest of his years as a landlord.
Because there ain't many Sri Lankan publicans about, is there?
No,
it's very unusual.
Do you know what, Harry? It's so funny because that pub was a proper sticky carpet. Looks like there'll be some anti-immigration views inside. You look like one of those places. Do you know what I mean? And so then when you go in and see this sort of James Brown lookalike behind the bar, people did get surprised. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've come across many Asian pub landlords, but my dad could handle himself. You know, they did love him, but there was a lot of chat like, you know what, you're one of the good ones, but there's a lot of that kind of chat. You're actually all right because you're taking over the pub. And I'll be honest with you, I was a bit nervous. I thought, you know, what's going to happen to it? But yeah, it was funny, man. It was funny.
Brilliant.
Were you playing football as a kid? Was that your sport?
I did. I played football. I played a bit of rugby. My dad got me into cricket. My dad was cricket mad.
Yeah.
But the problem that I have is a complete lack of any kind of athletic ability. And that must have been heartbreaking for my dad, who was like sports mad, and he thinks I've got 2 sons and neither of us have got a skill between us. Yeah. You know, like there's so many football fans that because they've got that knowledge, like they I mean, a lot of football fans think they're better than they are. Let's be absolutely honest. Yeah. But I'm under no illusion. I'm absolutely awful. And so, like, when I go to football a lot, as I do, or talk about it a lot, people go, we should have a game one day. And I feel like, you know what? Let's just leave it in this. Why don't we just draw a line under chatting about it? I think that's where I'm comfortable.
What made Sir Alex so good, Harry?
Well, I mean, yeah, but listen, what you need, the most important thing you need to be a great football manager is great players. Yeah. It does help, believe you me. When you've got good players, you know, let's be honest, Romesh, you could have probably done the double with Arsenal with 1 year, you know what I mean? You know, you could have, they were so good. Well, I mean, what are you doing? You know, you walk in the dressing room, all right, lads, yeah, enjoy it today, let's go, have a nice win. You know, I mean, honestly, it's people don't realise. Even, you know, I would go to Old Trafford, and I'd, you know, we'd take the teams in. Fergie's got a team like winning the league every year, and it's, you know, Alex would take the team. Alex say, "Come and have a cup of tea." I went, "Yeah." 10 minutes. The players go out for warm up. 2:10. I'm in Fergie's office. Me and Fergie are having a bet on we got the racing on, right? I swear. He's got the racing post. We're sitting there having a bet on the 220 at Adoc Park or somewhere. What are you betting, Alex? I've got this one, Harry. It's a good thing, this. Right, okay, we're on the phone having a bet. 2:45, 2:45. I've got one in the 2:45, right? Now it's 2:45. Suddenly I can hear the players coming in. I had their studs. I went, Alex, I better go. They're coming in. No, he said, they've only got 2 offences. Now, if I'd have had his team, I'd have probably sat in there and watched the 3:30. I mean, you know, it's all right for him, isn't it? You know, he could have sat in there, run down to the bench. How are we doing? We're 3-0 up, Gaffer. All right, keep it up. Hang on. Hello, is that a betting shop? Yeah, what's in the 3:45? I mean, it was, you know. That is the difference. Good players make it such an easy job. When you've got a load of crap, it's very difficult, believe you me.
You know, when the thing that people talk about with Fergie is that he was so, like, absolute no nonsense, you know, demanded a lot of his players. You know, Jaap Stam annoyed him, even though he was like a great player. He just got rid of him. You're done. You know, you've let me down. You're out. And you know, you hear all these stories about what he was like in a dressing room or whatever. Could you manage footballers now in the way that Fergie managed then? Because it feels like the culture's changed a bit.
It's changing for sure. But what he did, Ramesh, he had, you know, one quick story when he had Cantona. You know, I was talking. Lee Sharp tells a story when Cantona got sent off at Crystal Palace that day for the kung fu kick, and Brian Robson was the captain, and they played terrible, Man United. So Brian Robson, at the end of the game, Brian Robson said to the players, come here, hang back, don't go in the dressing room. Let him, he said, Eric was in there, let him get steamed into Eric. He said, he's going to slaughter Eric. He said, by the time he's finished with him, he'd have calmed, you know, he'd be all right. Let him get into Eric first. So they're all hanging back, taking their time, getting off the pitch. Sharp, he said, we all walked in, sat down. Straight away, you Sharpie, you. He's gone all round a lot of them. Now Eric's got sent off for doing the kung fu kick, and he's got to Eric last. He's gone, and you, Eric, he said, you can't be doing things like that, son. And that was it. You know what I mean? All the others, you were a disgrace. You shouldn't be playing for this. You're a disgrace to the jersey. And Eric's done a kung fu kick, and you can't be doing things like that, son.
Quality.
It's treating everyone's different. You're treating them all different. Yeah. I couldn't go into the Canio and start shouting or screaming at him. If I'd have, you fucking, you're talking, you bosh, you'd have, you know. We come in half time one day, Ramesh, at Birmingham, right? Yeah. Now we're winning 1-0 after, just before half time. They get a free kick right on half time. He's supposed to be lining up the wall. They take a free kick and score. We come in. A couple of lads, Paolo, you're supposed to be lining the wall up. What's the goalkeeper's gone, Paolo, you should have your job's to line the wall up. Why didn't you do it? You blame me. You blame me. He picks up this Gatorade in the middle of the room, right? We used to have that the Gatorade drink, right? And we used to have it in like big gallons thing. He's lifted it above his head, you blame me? He's walking around the dressing room. His legs are wobbling. I've got a brand new suit on. I'm under the table, right? There was a table, the massage table. I've dived under there, right? His legs are going. Suddenly, bosh, he's thrown it. It's gone all over this suit. Shaka Islop, the goalie, all over Shaka's brand new suit. I don't play no more. He takes off his socks, he takes off his shirt, throws it on the floor. I don't play. All right, now we're ready to go. Paulo, come on, we need you. Come on, put your gear on, come on. Boss, they blame me. No, they don't blame you. Look, Paulo, come on, please. You know, we need you. And in the end, like, we've got to cuddle him and tell him, and he goes and plays. He goes and scores 2 goals second half. We win the game, you know. But that is how it is, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
If it had been a bad player and he'd have done that, we'd have gone, what are you doing? You piss off. You ain't, go on, get out. You ain't playing no more.
Romesh, you've been an absolute legend, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed chatting with you.
Great to see you again, mate. Brilliant.
You too, Harry. Thanks so much for having me, guys.